Hey people, I'm a Broken Puppet, and this is the first dragon in my Dragon Week series. So we're drawing this exact dragon you see here. I'm going to go through every detail, it's going to be the exact one we end up drawing. So here we go. I'm going to start off with a nice circle. Like so. And a little circle just above it. It's going to be like the basic part of the head and the nose. Once you've got done, I'm going to bring a bigger circle just on the end and bring a curved line just cutting through the face. Make sure it's on a bit of the upper side because of the angle of the face. We're going to bring this long sort of like, bony texture bit come back. That's going to be his horn. A little circle on that line and just bring a line coming through the circles, coming back like this. We're going to build a body up with these sausage shapes. I'm going to bring the sausage shape just coming back, curving around. And after each one, I'm going to make another one. So this one's going to curve behind it, curving around. And I'm going to make sure that each one sits on a different level. So nothing's going to be parallel. There's nothing worse when they're parallel. And make sure they're quite interesting, just curve around. You can do it anyhow you want. It hasn't got this exact formation, but this is a really good, easy formation to work with. So it's going to curve around, come around the back, curve down and spiral like so to the end of the tail. So already you can see we're getting a nice little build up to where the body is now. And it's best off to do it this way, so you get like the basic structure first, then coming in heavy with the detail first. Make sure structure's there before anything else. For the arm, just on the bottom there, going to do a big oval circle, a smaller circle, going into this shape. So it's going to curve down to a little line, and I've got these like 3 curved lines coming off it. Now it looks a bit weird at this point, but it's going to be the 3 claws. Similar to the other side now, on the other side of the body, I've got this big circle, a little circle, and these 3 lines coming off again are going to be the claws. We're going to refine detail as we go, it's just going to be more and more detail each time. Same thing with the leg here, so I'm only going to do the one leg, because the other leg you wouldn't really see. So you're getting this long oval shape, a line coming down to a circle, and same like the claws, 3 curves off of it. Now I'm going to go up to the nose. I'm going to start off with the nose. So I'm going to put the teeth in there, and this sort of 3 circle shape curving around to make the tip part of the nose. The teeth are going to be 2 fangs and 4 teeth just on a straight line. I'm going to put in 2 nostrils curving outwards on those points like this. And around the end of it, I'm going to give like a bit of a beard. So it's going to have like a moustache. Sometimes they're sort of pointy. This one's going to be more of a bearded dragon. So it's free flowing sort of like texture. I'm going to do a circle around the eye, and I've got this little sort of fluffy texture around the top of it where his eyebrows kind of overlap in the eye. 2 lines here. It's going to be his little like moustache comes off. His little whiskers. And I'm going to double this up, coming back. Making the lines a little bit jaggedy. I don't them perfectly straight. Coming back to that point there. So one's sitting behind the nose, one's in front of it. Again, just add a bit more of his beard here, so I'm going to bring these curved lines like this, just curving around, just to bring that bit of beard underneath it. Now going back off that line we've done for the centre of the mouth, I'll make it a bit more interesting, so it's a bit more lumpy, a bit more bumpy, it's curving around. It's just making it much more fun and interesting. And make sure this line comes back further than the eye. If it's in front of the eye, it doesn't make sense. You want to make sure that tooth is sitting behind the eye. So I'm going to come in now and put a little curve just above the head. Now making the head a bit bumpy as it goes back towards the back horn. The undermouth on the under part, I'm going to make these curved shapes go around, and it's going to link into his belly. So the belly's going up from his neck, curving downwards. Curving around that tooth now, just adding more hair, so this kind of free-flowing texture. This makes it sort of free-flowing, nice, kind of sort of like simple bends. I don't want to go too crazy with it. Going to add the ear in here, it's a nice simple curve outwards, curve back, and a little loop underneath. And you're going to have the horn. He would have 2 horns, but you won't see the other horn because of the angle. It's like it would be sitting behind his belly. Now to get the belly right, I'm going to draw these circles the whole way through that sausage shape. So the circles are touching the bottom and the top. Repeating through like this. And then what I'm going to do is just follow those circles, curve into it, and that's going to give me a really good positioning for putting in the belly. So like this. So just make it a bit more neater. So I'm just curving these lines into it like this. So I'm just kind of over those circles we've just done. Now depending on how many circles you put will tell how far you want the body to be apart. Now originally I was going to have it a lot closer, and I decided to go a bit more wide with it, which I'm quite glad I did. So I'm going to curve around here, sort of go around the bottom part of the body now, just curving around. And I'm sort of stopping about halfway through the body, so the belly kind of stops at certain points, and it's going to go more into the scales. You want to cut a nice rotation with it. Don't want it to be too parallel the whole way through. You want to kind of be rotating, twisting, so the belly's on top, sometimes underneath. Adding that same kind of hair texture, going down the centre of the back. So you kind of work out where the centre line is, and drag that through and carry that through. Going around his arm now, just make it a bit more interesting, a bit more bumpy. And on his elbows, had a bit more of a fur texture as well. We want that fur texture to go the whole way through. It's going to kind of link it and make the whole thing feel like, like it's got a certain kind of theme to it. Coming back towards the hands, you're going to see the detail now. So this outside finger you see is going to have 3 sections curving into the big nail, into the big claw. I'm going to scan around a bit more detail like you see just there. Now a bit the same sort of one here, but you might not necessarily see all parts because where it sits underneath the fingers, but each one's going to be sort of like 3 sections building up into the claw. Just like so, and I'm going to put a big circle in the middle, so it's going to be holding like an orb in his hand. Now I put the circles through the rest of the body, so I'm going to do the rest of the belly now and just curve around and just follow this through. Just starting off with that back bit just there. So putting those belly, nice and curved as it goes out, sort of end it and then pick up on the other side. The idea is the belly wants to fit halfway across his, belly. Imagine it's like a tube. It goes halfway through and the other half's going to be blank. So just like so. Now going to his other hand, I'm going to start with 2 circles just to make the base of his hand and build up the fingers the same way I did on the other side. So break into little sections, curving up and then coming down into the nails, or the big claws rather. So we're going around now and going to pretty much do the same thing for each section here. So the leg's going to be a very similar format, except the claw and the foot is going to be slightly different. The finger's going to be more longer and the base is going to be a little bit shorter. And I made the curve a little bit more simple on that as well. So same thing here, just big fur texture going all the way up that, up his back. So kind of work out where the spine is, where the centre part is, and follow that through. And once we've got that done, we've got the base sort of texture of everything in there. And now we've got that, I'm going to get my pen out and I'm going to go like fine line detail over the top. So I'm pretty much going to have everything just neaten it up now. So the teeth and the face part's pretty much the same. Beard texture, I'm going to get these like whip lines in there with the pen. Make them a bit more neater, a bit more crisp. The idea is the original one we have was like our stencil, and now we're refining it, making everything look the way we want it to look. With a pen we can't rub this out, so making this look exactly the way we want it to. I'm doing this on Procreate, but if done on paper, this is like kind of like the finishing touch, the final version. So once you hit the pen, there's no going back. This is why the build-up is so important. When you with the build-up, it just makes it much more easier because you don't have the guess game. You have your stencil in there, you can kind of make it exactly how you want it to be. There's no sort of like thinking, oh, I'll put this in here, making a mistake. So we're just putting up everything that we pretty much have we done, just going section by section, just neaten it up. Adding a few little extra details, little curves around the tooth, a few little extra lines just like around the eye and stuff. Just simple little effects that will just make it much nicer and neater. Like in the horn, I've got a few extra line details. And now for the outside body, I like to make it the outside body not perfectly smooth. So you see here, it's got a little dip just on the left-hand side, then a bit of a bump on the right-hand side. Rather than making it a perfect cylinder, I like to have little bumps here and there. So every now and again, it curve inside, outwards, just like on the arm here. Sort of rather than being a simple curve, it sort of dips in, bounces out. It kind of gives you the illusion of muscle, like underneath the skin, which I like. So just going down here to the rest of the fingers and stuff. So just kind of curve around, make those 4 curves we've done. Well, 3 curves into the finger rather. And you're going to loop them inwards this way, just like that. Pretty much do the same thing for the other claws as well. Claw number 2, claw number 3. There we go. Let's go around the ball as well. Get a nice outline to that orb. You can do that orb in a different colour as well if you want that, to sort of stand out. You could always do the actual line of the orb in the colour you want to do it. So if it's going to be like a red orb, you could do the outline in red, and it makes it stand out really nice. Now we're just pretty much just going over everything else. Now we know what we're doing. We're pretty much just doing what we're doing over the top. Just come around there, the other claw, the same kind of principles, curving underneath, just getting a nice texture. And once we've done all this, we go on doing the scales and the other stuff, and then shading and colouring. Maybe you can just see it step by step, just what I'm doing, just going over everything, just neatening it up. I said that. This is why the stencil is so important. This is why building it up, sort of like, a few sort of layers at a time. If you're going straight in with heavy detail, first go, you're going to make mistakes. This is the way of sort of like making those mistakes not happen. And once you've got that done, just rub all your pencil work, and we're going to start plotting in the scales. So the scales, we're going to do these like curve lines. So coming diagonally one way and diagonally the other way. Now, depending on how sort of like diagonal you make it, you're going to make the scales either larger or thinner. This one I wanted to quite thin, so I'm making them quite sort of, facing downwards, so you get this like long diamond shape. If you're making them longer, the other way around, you're going to get a diamond shape going the other way, and that's going to make the scales wider. But this is basically our guide. So basically, in each one of these diamonds, we're going to make a curve. Like so, like you see a little section there, just underneath the head. So every little diamond shape, I've got this curve line. And we just been pretty much do that over the whole thing. So each little sign we do is going to go around there. It can be a little bit tricky sticking to it 100%. You know, sometimes you might need to modify it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, but just be careful when you do, because sometimes it's very easy to make mistakes and make them look a bit too wider. A bit too wider, a bit too wide. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired here, so I'm not saying everything super clearly. So that's all the scales in there like this, and I'm going to put the extra little details in there. So I'm going to put the refined details, like in the claws and the arms. So see, I've got these loop shapes curving around, going down the fingers and up the arms. And then what I'm going to do, just get the same kind of width for the scale, so that thin liner, curving around and make a little secondary line just inside it as well. You know, it's a really simple little thing, but it makes a really big difference. It makes them look really cool. I'm going to start with the shading, so I'm going to start off with the nose. So putting some shadow from the side of the lips, under the nostrils. A bit on that little line we've done inside the nose, and just around the edges. So kind of up here around the mouth, leaving a little highlight just around the bottom part of the mouth. Quite dark on the inside of the eye. Pretty much everywhere there's a corner or you're hitting an edge, you kind of want to shade off, like around the mouth there. On each one of those lines, just fading inwards. Around the back of the head, just fading outwards. You know, the only parts we're not going to touch here is going to be his beard. You know, I don't want to touch the beard. I want that to be a nice colour. You know, it's going to be like yellow and orange. So I'm going to round the beard here, around the edges. It's a nice bit of shadow underneath the beard as well. It's going to really make it pop. Getting down the belly here. Now, before you do this bit, I'm just showing you how I'm putting this sort of shadow on this one. It's going to vary from ones, but this one I'm going to do, and I'm going to leave a little edge just around each one of those scales like that. So the idea is you want that sort of shadow kind of curving through like that way, but just ignoring those little curved lines like that. Now you see here I've got a slight difference there. It's the same sort of thing going down the arm. You've got a nice highlight going through the centre of it. On the back's coming down from the side like this. And just leaving those little bits on each scale. So each scale just leave a little white highlight across the edge. You know, it's a really simple thing, but it just looks really cool in the end. You know, I'm pretty much doing that for all of it except for the claw detail. When I go to the claw, I want that black, so I want that to stand out a bit different. You know, like the back's got this nice kind of shine to it, and I want the arms to kind of feel a bit matte, so it kind of like really stands out. You know, by not having that highlight, it kind of makes it feel a bit matte, so it's just a really nice contrast and texture. I'm going to go in with some colour. I'm going to start with the colours that I know I want. So it's underbelly, I know I want this red. You know, if you're not too sure about what colours to do things, just do the colours you're 100% sure with first, and that will help you decide the other colours. So I just put red here, and I've got this like nice kind of sort of yellowy green underneath the whole thing. So I've just gone over that with this nice green, and I'm going to sort of slightly darken it up with a darker green now coming over the shadow. So pretty much on the darks we've done before. Just going over those step by step, just building it up, making it a bit different. And then going over all the beard in this nice sort of like golden yellow tone. And then on the edges of that beard, I'm going to come in with a darker orange now. Just like this. You know, pause, take your time with this. You know, it's quite a big sort of section all at once, you know, but it's just because it's a simple colour over the top. Now just putting that bone colour texture. That's going to go in the teeth and the claws and the horn. And then get a little bit of pinks in the ear and that nice blue just in the eye. I'm going to put the same kind of blue in the orb, and I'm going to put a bit of a yellow shadow just on the side of it as well. And that's pretty much it for the dragon. Now I want to really make the dragon stand out, so I'm going to put this nice background in the back. I've got this big sort of rectangle behind it, some shadow coming from the sides. Then I'm going to put this really faint blue just behind that shadow, and I'm going to rub out the edges and just leave like a white highlight just around the dragon. And that's really going to make him stand out in front like it does there. And that is it, people. That's how you draw a dragon. Hope you like it. Remember, this is Dragon Week, so I'm going to have 7 tutorials on dragons every day this week. So make sure you check out the other ones. But for now, I am D. Bracken Buppy, people, and I'll see you next time. Peace.